In this video on Endure the Stars 1.5, we're learning about the Survivor phase. Endure the Stars is played in rounds, and each round has 3 phases: Survivor, Enemy, and Resolution. In the Survivor phase, each survivor can perform 3 actions on their turn. Let's go over each action type. The Move action. A survivor may move across the board one zone at a time, unless an event or other ability says otherwise. Moving one zone uses 1 action. Survivors cannot cross through solid walls or doors that are locked unless they have an item or ability that allows it. If there are ever enemies in a zone a survivor is attempting to leave, the survivor must perform a resolve check, as shown in the previous video. In order to leave after failing a resolve check, the survivor can perform a vault. The Vault action. A survivor may opt for this when they have failed their resolve check. When a survivor decides to vault, they are able to move one zone in any direction, but this comes at a cost. They take 1 damage immediately, then roll the injury die. The Attack action. Survivors may attack enemies using weapons and items in their inventories, which we will go over in the combat video. The Search action. Survivors can search room zones for items left behind. A single survivor cannot search the room multiple times on the same turn. However, a survivor can search in different zones. Whenever the search action is performed, a single card is drawn from the item or weapon deck. The weapon deck may only be searched in zones that display this symbol. Mixed into both the item and weapon decks are these noise cards. When a noise card is drawn, the corresponding noise token is placed into the zone where the noise was drawn. Then another card is drawn from the deck immediately. Only 1 additional card is ever drawn, regardless of whether or not the next card drawn is also a noise card. If when performing this action a survivor's inventory is full, they may discard items to make room for others at any time without using an action. Single-use items may be used to free up inventory space at the cost of 1 action. Whenever an item is discarded, used, or dropped, it is removed from play and forms a discard pile. There is one exception to this. If a survivor dies, a single card may be chosen by that player to drop in the zone where said survivor died. The Interact action. Missions typically have these objective tokens, which survivors may interact with at the cost of 1 action. The Activate ability action. Survivors can choose one of their active or crisis abilities to activate for 1 action. Active abilities can be triggered once per turn, crisis abilities once per mission. A survivor can choose to trigger both on the same turn if they wish. The Reorganized inventory action. A survivor can choose to reorganize their inventory at the cost of 1 action. The Trade action. A survivor can spend an action to trade weapons, items, and even objectives with another survivor in the same zone. These survivors can exchange any number of cards with another survivor, and both survivors may reorganize their inventory for free. If there are enemies present in a zone, the trade action cannot be used. The Use Items action. A survivor can spend 1 action to use various items. Items may only be used on the actual survivor carrying it in their inventory. If another survivor wishes to use that item, it must be traded for. Additionally, if an item has effects that last, the card can be rotated 90 degrees to show they are in use. In the next video, we're going to go over the Enemy phase.